reaction now to those new Russian sanctions from House Majority Whip Steve Scalise of Louisiana. That wasn't the only thing that happened in the last 24 hours, Mr. Scalise. The United States joined the UK, Germany, and France, some of our longest-running allies, in a strong response to Russia, basically saying that the attack on British soil will not stand. Your thoughts?
Well, Dana, great to be with you, and I applaud President Trump in taking this strong, decisive action against Russia. If you look at what they did in our elections, he's finally taking action when the previous administration didn't. If you look at what President Trump recently did just a few weeks ago to finally sell Javelin missiles to our friends, the Ukraine, so that they can push back on Russia's aggression in the Ukraine. I mean, these are strong, decisive steps that our allies have been calling on us to take for years. I'm glad we finally have a president, Donald Trump, who's willing to support our allies and push back on Russia's aggression.
But do you think that this is the only thing that could happen, or is this just a first step in terms of the pushback for the election meddling? And what about the issue about protecting America's elections going forward? What else needs to be done there?
Well, I think, first of all, if you look at the work that the House Intelligence Committee has done to identify the problems, they're going to be coming out with a report real soon. That's going to have specific recommendations to Congress as well as to secretaries of state in each state, because ultimately elections are run in all 50 of the states, and their secretaries of state are responsible. But we're going to be giving them more tools, and we're going to be identifying problems that we can address. But President Trump actually took real decisive action, and there are a lot of other things he's doing. Again, the selling of Javelin missiles in Ukraine is going to be a game changer to give them the ability to push back against those Russian tanks that are coming in and to push back on Putin's aggression. It's about time. In so many cases we're seeing in President Trump that he's supporting our allies. He's doing it in Israel. He's doing it pushing back against the Iran deal. He's pushing back against North Korea's aggression towards a nuclear weapon. I'm glad we finally have a president standing up for America.
Let me ask you then about domestic matters. There was a report yesterday that the president apparently seems to be willing and interested in getting a deal for the Dreamers on DACA as long as there's some border security in the upcoming spending bill. A question on whether or not that is true, and if that does indeed have to originate in the House, and how you'll be able to try to get that through the Senate in order to get it to his desk in time for him to sign it.
The good news is, Dana, that we are working on a really good bill in the House. I am a co-sponsor of the Goodlatte-McCall bill, which authorizes and starts moving forward with building the wall and securing our border. It fixes the DACA problem. It ends chain migration and ends this visa lottery system, so many broken parts of our legal immigration system, and makes it work again. So I think that's a really good approach, and it finally solves a real problem that Democrats refused to solve when they were in the majority.
Do you think there's any reason to believe that this could get done in the spending bill?
I'm not sure if it fits in the spending bill, but again, a lot of work's being done in the House, and as the majority whip, I just had a meeting with Chairman Goodlatte yesterday on some of those issues in the Goodlatte-McCall bill that we're working on with our members to get more people to yes. We have another meeting later today on that. DACA and all immigration issues are very complicated and complex, but we're working through those complex issues to try to solve these real problems that were, frankly, Dana, created when Barack Obama said to thousands of people across the country, or across South America and Central America, he said, come here illegally, bring your kids here illegally, and he said America would just look the other way and somebody else will have to figure out the problem. That's what Barack Obama did with DACA. We're finally working on a solution. Yeah, with the executive order.
So there was a tantalizing bit today from Kevin Brady, the chairman of Ways and Means Committee. Take a listen.
We think even more can be done. We want to make sure that we're encouraging innovation in America. We want to help families save for the long term. Also, while the tax cuts for families were long term, they're not yet permanent. And so we're going to address issues like that. And we're in discussions with the White House, the president, about this issue. And also, House Republicans are continuing to work.
I'm curious if a rather light agenda on the floor this year is maybe encouraging this idea that the tax cuts have done well for not just the economy, but for the Republican Party. Is this the idea, then, to try to push this through as you head into a tough midterm election?
Well, Dana, let's stay big and let's stay bold. And look, Kevin Brady's as good as it gets. It was his bill, H.R. 1, that cut taxes for 9 out of 10 Americans who are seeing more money in their pocketbook, and over 400 major companies. That list is growing, who've given bonuses and pay raises to their workers. So we're going to continue to work on getting this economy back on track. The Democrats, by the way, just recently said if they get the majority back and Nancy Pelosi Speaker, they'll reverse that that success we're having, and they would raise taxes on families and on businesses. So what we want to do is make the tax cuts permanent. Rodney Davis from Illinois has a great bill to do just that. I'd like to see that bill move forward, and there's a lot of interest. Hopefully it would be bipartisan, but we thought the idea of cutting taxes for families would be bipartisan. But Nancy Pelosi decided that they wanted to block that benefit to American families. But we got it through anyway, and now we're seeing the benefits in our economy. Let's keep building on that success. President Trump, by the way, has been right there with us every step of the way on saying, let's help rebuild the middle class. Let's bring jobs back to America, and we're seeing it happen. Now's not the time to turn back the clock and let Nancy Pelosi be Speaker. That's why November is so important. But in the meantime, let's continue to be bold and build on this success.
Hey,